Okay, let's do this. We are live. Absolutely massive hail in this storm. Observed tornado. So there is currently a tornado on the ground southwest of Stratford, Texas, moving southeast toward Cactus, Texas. This is warned for an observed tornado and 1.75-inch hail. 5:22 p.m. broadcast or Central Time. A confirmed tornado. Broadcast media confirmed a tornado 8 miles south of Stratford, moving southeast at 35 miles an hour. So we're going back to so to have here's the big picture. So yeah, so right now we're just kind of hanging around. Well, we're not hanging around. We've activated tornado warnings and active tornadoes for that matter. But yeah. So originally there was supposed to be, as far as what the Storm Prediction Center has said for today, is there's supposed to be two areas. There's supposed to be an area up here where we have this tornado warning in this northern severe thunderstorm watch. These are the counties outlined in gold. The yellow and the polygons are severe thunderstorm warnings, and then if we zoom in here, we got the red ones are the tornado warnings. We have 2 tornado warnings. Really, they're for one storm. However, what the center didn't happen. A pretty long conversation last night with Dalton Fickle. Go give him a follow. He's another member of the team here at Central, and he and I talked for about 3 hours last night about. Let's get out of here. This area that I'm circling. Well, I take that back. This area right here. Now, this area has a lot of ingredients. It has a lot of instability, a lot of wind shear, good veering in the wind shear, good hodographs. And basically ingredients to where if a storm formed there, that there would be a potential of tornadoes, really large hail, strong to violent tornadoes. But I think the storm, we were kind of talking about how it wasn't in a risk area for the Storm Prediction Center, but all these parameters, and the reason that was that there was a cap. But when we really dove in deep, it was like almost 3 hours we talked, or probably for 2.5 hours or 2 hours over the course of 3 hours or so. We talked about we really got deep into the meteorology and the stuff behind this thing called the cap. It's a layer of warm air, a couple thousand feet up in the atmosphere usually, and that prevents storms from forming. And we really looked into it, and we were like, this cap's gonna break. And lo and behold, the cap broke. There's a storm here. So it formed. It wasn't even in a general thunderstorm risk from the Storm Prediction Center. And so we just kind of were like, we'll see what happens. And a storm formed here. So let's go to in less than big picture, and it formed really quickly. Big picture mode here. So Amarillo, this is a tornado on the ground. So yeah, basically, this is observed tornado warning. Massive, massive hail in this storm, by the way. 70, 75 dBz. Massive, massive hail. There was 80 earlier. Massive hail. Just a big, beefy, tornadic supercell as well. A lot of storm chasers on this one. I need like another table to put right next to me. But massive, massive hail. This severe thunderstorm warning, it's gotten smaller. It was warned for baseball, 3.5 inch hail even. So let's go down to this area. Yeah, it's the exact same place as yesterday, which is funny. Yesterday there was a tornado. Last night there was not a tornado last night, but there was a storm that kind of did this, and it had a couple of what are called left splits. So you got one, and we got another one, and then this storm ended up going into Dallas, all the way up to Dallas, and produced 5-inch diameter hail in parts of the Dallas-Fort Worth, the greater DFW area in North Texas. And there was a storm. The first storm that formed was kind of here, and it had a very, very impressive look to it. It had a big hook echo. Like that. Big hook echo on it. But it did not produce a tornado. And even some experts, people with PhDs in meteorology, they kind of were out and people came out on Twitter and were like, I do not understand why this storm did not produce a tornado. With that radar presentation in that environment on a boundary, everything was in place, but it didn't quite happen, which is in hindsight is a good thing. I mean, if it would have produced a tornado, it would likely have been a strong tornado that would have impacted some decently populated areas in this Highway 87 corridor between Melvin and Brady that it tracked. So, yeah. So these storms really, really exploded. So originally the main targets for today is another day with big hail in the greater DFW area. And then another threat for pretty large hail and a 2% tornado threat. There's also a 2% tornado threat in here, but this tornado threat has verified pretty well. To this point, there's been 2 tornadoes from this one storm, at least. There could have been more, but some of them were kind of rain-wrapped. But, well, actually, no, I take that back. There actually was what appeared to be a tornado. It was pretty obvious to me that it was a tornado. We're still waiting on the confirmation from our good friends at the National Weather Service in Pueblo here, because they're forecast area. But there appears to have been a tornado somewhere in this area. I don't know exactly. I could zoom in. Where's Pritchett? Yeah, okay. So, near Pritchett, Colorado. I was actually here. This road. I storm chased in this area. What? On Sunday afternoon, pretty beautiful high precipitation beast of a supercell that did that. Let me draw that again. Actually, that was actually pretty good. Did that. And I kind of did this. Before I went back here to Denver. So, yeah. There was a tornado there. There was a tornado south of Boise City, Oklahoma. And there was another tornado that, per this warning, that was observed down here. Still looking for Twitter stuffs. This is an observed for 1.25 inch hail. So, almost tennis balls. Golf ball, definitely. Bigger than golf ball. And the Storm Prediction Center did say that there was a possibility that they would issue a severe thunderstorm watch because of the storms that would initiate out of a cumulus field, which puffy cumulus clouds can get what are called agitated. They get big and they're like, oh, and then they turn into thunderstorms. That's how they work. That's how thunderstorms form and stuff. And there was a cumulus field that developed in this vicinity, and it moved this way, and the Storm Prediction Center acknowledged it, and they said another severe thunderstorm watch may be needed based on how these storms progress. And I'm assuming we're going to get that watch pretty soon, considering that we have splitting supercells. And, you know, this is so eerie. The similarities to yesterday, yo. This is going to go, this is now, I believe, if I'm not completely mistaken. Now, let's actually go to a 14 frame radar loop right now. And let's take a radar loop from the San Angelo. I think this is a left 21 frames. This is what is called a left split. It's called a splitting supercell. Yep, got initiation. So this is a left split supercell. So what happens is sometimes the way supercells, when the wind's in them at the beginning of their kind of lifespan, the winds can kind of split, cause the storm to split in half. And you can kind of forecast if there's going to be splitting supercells and stuff like this well, you definitely can forecast it, but it's kind of complicated, and I'm not going to get into it on this live stream right now more than this. But basically, when the wind speed, so we have pretty good upper level or mid-level winds blowing out of the west right here across this region. If you look at the satellite, which I might try and show in a little bit if stuff doesn't quite pan out, which we don't want severe weather. We don't want it to impact people. But it happens. We can't control it. But what we have to do is we have to inform and educate people on what to do and when there's severe weather coming and what to do if there's severe weather in their area. And that's what I'm here to do today. So the people of Central Plains, live coverage from Central Plains weather. So yeah, still working on getting there. The official Central Plains Weather YouTube channel up and running. But for now, we're just going on my channel because there's a bit more exposure right now. So what happened is this storm, it split. Okay, so you got the left split. And a left split is generally becomes more of a threat for really large hail. And the right split is more conducive to producing tornadoes. But the left split it's still a supercell. It's still capable of producing those tornadoes. And so, just because it's a left split does not mean it can't produce a tornado, or that if it does, it'll be weaker. Because left splits have produced EF5 tornadoes before. But it's generally right splits are more conducive. Let's actually look at these storms a little closer here. These are really close to the radar, which is nice. They are by no means going to be in this area for long. They're going to move, especially this left split here is going to move off to the northeast pretty quickly. Yeah, pretty quickly. Which is why you see that this this severe polygon is longer than this one. So let's go. Okay, so let's look on the west side of Minard. There is a little bit of rotation starting to form here. And that's another thing today is that there is only a very small number of storm chasers down here on these storms because they weren't really projected to form. And honestly, like I said yesterday, I was convinced the cap was going to break. I guess I ended up being right. Sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you get lucky. So yeah, let's go back up to this Amarillo radar. It's got some storm chasers on it. Let's look at velocities. Yep. So I think this is this over here on the right side is more of a radar artifact. This is not real. Where it's green, it's called range folding. It's a radar artifact. But what I believe is that, especially that this right here is a tornado. I think. We can maybe get a better confirmation. Let's go to the correlation coefficient. Really messy. Really, really messy. 71, 74. This storm is insane, guys. Massive, massive hail on this storm. That is neat. So I found a couple more features. It's the measuring. Okay. We can split box it. How nice. Let's go. So this is going to be high-res velocity. Perfect. So now we're in a double box. We've double boxed the radar here. You have the reflectivity on the left and velocity. So, ooh, man. Yeah, so this is a new scan that kind of just came up. Like, a lot more interesting looking features to it. Really strong wind in this. This has now been downgraded to a radar indicated tornado warning. The severe warning now has 2-inch hail, which makes sense with the size of that. Let's actually flip this around. We want the right to be reflectivity and the left to be velocity. So the left will always stay velocity. Okay, so let's go back to the southern storms in San Angelo. Well, not in, but south to the southeast of San Angelo, Texas. Let's go to the velocity scan. Nothing super, super interesting to it, but nonetheless, we are definitely typical day. We've got no concurrent viewers. We're good. We're totally good. storm also near Menard. Let's really zoom into here. So we'll be here. Ooh. Okay, we have another tornado warning out ahead of this line here. Well, not really a line, just one supercell. Whoa! That's big hail. Radar indicated. Near Cactus are 16 miles north of Dumas. Moving southeast at 30 miles an hour. Hazard tornado and baseball size hail. Yeah, so I think right now it's gonna be this area. So let's kind of track that out for you. So this is south. This is east. The radar polygon will kind of give you a... So here we have the impact times for this, the tornadic portion of this storm. Got Sunray and Sunray and Sheeran in like 18 minutes, and after that, will be another almost full hour before it really goes into another town. There's 3,000, only about 4,000 people in the path of this storm. So yeah, right now we're just... I mean, some of these chasers should have listened to me. I told them that the cap was going to break in Central Texas, and no one believed me. But, hey, it's what it is. Got to work with what you have, because it sucks to not have any chasers on these storms, right? I will be right back. Just give me a second, guys. I'm back. We're gonna sit and we're gonna wait. That's what we're gonna do. Let me check. Severe worn out ahead. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Bye. No one watches these, so yeah. I'm gonna end the stream now.